Hello and welcome to the crypto day morning for that of Saturday, the 14th of July, 2018. And it's Saturday, markets will remain to trade. And that's because the market doesn't close. Within the Bitcoin versus the US dollar, it continues to just congest and stay within the 6,000-ish area, a little above, a little below within the recent term time frame. It's still that question mark, big support that would eventually, if this goes up, be that of an area where there was lots of buying opportunities between 6,500 and lower. Of course, will it be thus of an area where it's resistance or an extreme lack of support, thus leg lower from 6,000? And that would be at least 5,000, but Fibonacci says down to 3,000. Okay, but that comes again with that of the question mark. So any of these types of moves, anything that goes to like 5,900, that's a 300-point move. That doesn't change much. Anything that keeps it below this level of resistance, 6,600, 6,500, that doesn't change much. If it moves up into the 73s, to me that's like an attempt. It's lifting off from this area, so it's showing a bit of support. It's an attempt in reverting the trend, but it's all going to come down to taking out some of these big highs. So when I look at this on the 3-day time frame, doing a situation of being able to get above this 18 average band, finding an area to correct after that, which is a movement back to the 18 average, and then break whichever level of resistance it establishes. So we were looking at it's going to be at least at this stage around 9,000 before I can see that of a confirmed breakout. But any type of price action that goes north of the 72, 7,300 is an attempt to be able to end the downtrend and put this back into that of a bull market. When we look at this again on the daily chart, what can we see just in the last few days? Well, this is day number 4 as it is resisting the 18 average after the move that went from above the 18 average of highs barely and such to barely below the 18 lows, or a decent size red down day. It has digested that move into such within, as stated, just resisting amongst the 18 lows. Just looking at the last 3 periods, we can see that the current one and the previous one are higher lows. In fact, yesterday was an inside day or period, and it's a daily time frame, so we'll count it as an inside day. As so far, this one is as well, but there's still almost about 11 hours close to it and trading left in the day as it's stating. But it's Saturday, you're not going to get as much volatility through the weekend as you will through the week, but that doesn't mean any type of big buyers or sellers, if they come in, they'll come in any day, any time, when and if need be. Okay, so we'll take a look at the short term. We can also see we got this higher low to here, so we can draw a short-term uptrend line on the last 3 days, and you could connect it to the late June lows. And of course, connecting downtrend lines has been relatively an easy thing to do lately, but you can do so even within the last 4. So we'll take a look at this on a 60-minute time frame. So over the last few days, the trend line, and I'm not going to draw a straight line, but well, this would be the trend line. It has had this, and so far this higher low within the run, and within thus of the run, or the elevator riding situation, you have the elevator ride up after, of course, it was elevator down. You play around on the floors up and down, running around, I guess, and then the big drop. So I'm only going to be expecting, at least in the short term, for this trend to continue, where there are decent quick size moves that will thus find a way to correct sideways thereafter. And don't be surprised if a lot of them have a failed move the opposite direction before it happens. It's been kind of normal lately as far as any type of trends in here. It's, I guess you could put downtrends in there, and as I stated, I guess this is the Bart Simpson formation, where you have a big rally, basically straight up. It's a bit Bart Simpson head. And then as the character head just has like this choppy action, that's what we're seeing here. And then it goes straight back down pretty much as fast. I mean, in this case, not quite, but close enough, or an example fast enough to make it a straight move down. You can put some eyes, a nose, a face, or whatever, but I'm not going to draw such. However, again, a lot of downtrends in this market. This was how it fell, or where it fell from the 6,800. And how did it digest this sell in here? Well, it just went sideways. And then in here, well, it had this little bit of a rally, thus creating what is now in the symmetrical triangle formulation right in there. And the pattern really isn't that pretty for a bullish situation as the market stands to this point. With the extreme volatility, something Bitcoin has had a historical situation of having a lot of. Lately, the size of these moves nowhere near as big. That will change again in time. Then you have how it had a good rally up towards here, back to this point. Not as good, but still a good rally in here. And then this has been, I mean, it almost feels as if it's like, wow, it's July. I mean, it's been like 2-3 months since all this stuff has happened. I mean, I was opening my Binance account back in here. And yet, it's been that long, but that's because not much has been going on as it has been grinding its way towards the downside, thus the congestion within this area. And how it is just looking to leave or just barely holding in within the 18 average, that when it's ready to have a move and leave for such, then there's decent sized red candles that maybe not quite as big as before, but maybe even as so, or a little larger, can most certainly come into play within the cryptocurrency market. Okay, so everything, of course, your own risk, own reward. Everyone's in different situations for what they want. There's a lot of people that are hoping for the life that this thing doesn't go lower. And there's people that are hoping that it does. People who have got shorts in, people looking to get buy orders filled, get back into the game in some cases, add more larger positions into the game. Those would be the type of people looking for 3,000. Those who are not doing such a thing, that are holding Bitcoin, well, hoping. Well, they shouldn't be expecting, hoping that it's ready to go towards the upside. And I'm not expecting it to go to 3,000. Rather, the probability odds, as the technical analysis states, that given its weakness amongst here and the ultimate support at 6, the congestion that it's had, that it is more likely for Bitcoin to touch and break below, even just by a penny, the $3,000 level, as it is that it would get to somewhere around the 13,000, or the exact same X number. So 6240 divided by 3,000. I mean, you're going to get a little over 2. So I'm just going to multiply this by a little over 2 for the exact same move, looking at it from a game up or down. What happens first, or next, rather. So I just think it's more favorable for such to be a case. I think regardless of whichever decision that gets made is going to be that of bringing much larger volatility. In the shorter term, I mentioned the trend lines, how you can get like the symmetrical views. It's got a long ways to go because it's a sideways range. I'm not even going to continue drawing this here further, because whenever the rally comes in, especially if it's lower, then I'm just going to say, okay, the pattern's still continuing, meaning it's got a long ways to go before you can even start to consider to confirm that this is in a full-fledged bull market. And when you confirm such an ordeal with a market like this, well, just as we've seen when this thing got going big time in the years past, that when this thing got confirmed, I mean, it was just up to the races. When this thing from this selling in here, when this thing was confirmed in this little area here, it was off to the races. Thank you for tuning in, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.